Welcome to IntegratePro OTS1. I'm Dave Wooding, and you're probably wondering, what the heck is OTS? Well, it's over the shoulder. You're going to have a chance to kind of be sitting behind me, watching over my shoulder as I go through what I'm doing here. Now, it's not going to be clean, it's not going to be precise, it's not going to be succinct. You're going to kind of hear me thinking out loud with what I'm doing. And in general, I'm not going to go over 30 minutes. Nor will I be done with whatever I start in 30 minutes. It's mainly to give you an idea of what I'm thinking, what I'm planning on doing, kind of the roadblocks I run into, how I get around them, that kind of stuff. So today, I have a client who's interested in doing a little cleanup. What's happened is she's found that her ActiveCampaign has kind of turned into this hot mess of what the heck is going on in there. Tags are kind of all over the place. There's lists upon lists. Automation's doing things, not really knowing exactly what, and it just kind of looks too busy. Now, also, got to take into account the other things that are coming into play. This person's also using ThriveCart, also using WordPress with Thrive leads, I think is the right thing. And we kind of have to kind of tie together what's going on. So I'm going to do an account review, kind of using what I call an APE process. We're going to assess what's going on, plan out what to do, and actually execute. Probably not going to get to the executing here. You'll see some of the plan, and definitely going to go through the access part. Now, I'll warn you, I love spreadsheets, especially for organization and kind of figuring out where things are at and what we're going to do. Eventually, I'm going to talk about do not disturb tags in ActiveCampaign. Love them to death because it helps you organize messaging to contacts based on what they have expressed an interest in. So with that said, let's dive right in. So here's the ActiveCampaign account. I'll just give you some examples. So if I go to contacts and I look at tags, and now I've added these. These are kind of my generic tags that I use, and I put bang or exclamation tags as a way just to simply make them show up at the top. And one thing I do is typically the first word, and actually for instance activity, it would be the first word, represents what I call a category. And in general it goes from general to specific to more specific, and then I've just put notes on kind of the intention of these tags. I'll be honest, I use profile a lot. I also throw in one called customer, which I'm not listing here, and also temp. In other words, a tag that I only want to use for a short amount of time, and I'm going to delete it. A lot of times I'll actually put the date in the tag name as a way to remind myself to actually get rid of it. And then here's some examples, $, $10. There's definitely a use for some of these, but notice some things like this. There's $10K space dash space $30K. Down here, there's no white space. My guess is these should be used for the same reason. Somebody fat fingered or somebody created a new version of it, but just didn't take into account that one of these really should be used. And some of these ones with zeros, probably going to just delete them. So there's definitely a lot of tags in here that can be simplified in my opinion. And my kind of way of doing things, if you will, is to do something like this, which is generic to specific. And actually I'm going to change this from profile AdWords interest to profile interest AdWords. Again, general to specific. First word is all caps, so it's kind of categorized, mainly so when I search, it's easy to find, like all the profile tags, for instance. Yeah, and then the other thing was automations. A lot of different automations, and again, I like to name them starting from general to specific. If I can, caps on the first word that's used in the automation, and usually a dash in between. Some of these obviously didn't get completed. This one's actually active, but no, it didn't get named. What's going on there? And then I think there's a number of lists, and what I'm thinking here is we want to kind of reduce them either down to one or just a few. The danger with just one is that, for instance, if somebody says, hey, I really don't want these type of emails, but I kind of want to be on your list, you can't really do that well if you just have one list. However, that's where, for instance, do not disturb tags come into play. So you might, prior to the opt-out option at the bottom of the page, have a link that says, hey, click here if you don't want to receive these type of messages but still remain on our list. That would be the use of like a do not disturb tag. So I want to do some cleanup, probably going to try and see if I can put everybody onto the main list and then have no other list, and basically use tags to identify what people are interested in. And I think the reason there's multiple lists here is because of the way the Thrive leads has been used. And I'll show that to you in a minute. And also forms, no idea yet. Again, probably going to do some renaming here. I have an understanding of all the number of people that are there. But anyways, so there. So let me jump into a spreadsheet just to show you this is kind of the beautiful thing. I've created a spreadsheet that basically has all the ActiveCampaign list, forms, tags, and automations already in here. And the way I got them in here was I went into ActiveCampaign, I copy pasted just straight off, put it in here, and then formatted it and deleted a bunch of stuff. So I've got all the names. I put in the active contacts just kind of as a sanity check, and then the idea is I'm going to rename or I'm going to delete. I'm not going to ever change this. I want to keep some history here. If I create a new list, it's going to be down here. It won't show up here. But for instance, main will probably stay main, and ideally get rid of all the other ones. Forms is probably along the same lines. Not yet sure what's going on here. I've looked a little bit, but not deeply. Tags definitely there's definitely going to be some overall here. And let me show you what I do here. Typically when I dump this kind of information, again, I copy pasted in here. I think it had name, active contacts, automations, and that was it. I put in here the new names. And what I'm going to do is, for instance, I'm going to put something like this, profile. And what is this? This is ad spend. And then I'm going to put like the 10K to 30K. I'm going to try and remove these weird characters. Anything that's not alphanumeric or underscore or dash, I'm going to typically say goodbye to it. So what I did here is profile-ad spend-003. Now the reason I did that is because I know there's 4 groups here, and I want to keep them in order, alphabetical or numerical, whatever order. So this is 001, it's 0K to 5K. Number 2 is 5K to 10K. 3 is 10K to 30K. Now, if I wouldn't have done that, I think 10K would have come in prior to 5K, and I don't want that to happen. And then 10K or 30K plus, I just put an underscore but didn't put a last number in there. So there's going to be a lot of these removes, and if you notice, I actually put a filter on everything. So for instance, I could come in here and say, okay, which ones am I going to remove? There they are, and we'll tell you what, let's look at them all and exclude the removes and see what we have left. In other words, what work do we need to do? Now I know there's probably something big going on here, 119 contacts with this, but what's AdWords guide versus AdWords? I'd really like to understand that. Fortunately, each of these are in an automation, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out the logic, the current logic, and then maybe change it up a little bit. Here's another reason I put in the active contacts. So if I keep in mind AdWords, 119 people are already in there. If I go to lists, and there's an AdWords list, has 129, about 10 people more. So my guess is anybody who's getting added to this list is also getting that tag. But what I don't understand is what about this AdWords guide? Where's that coming from? I don't see the word guide or anything beyond there. So a little confusing. Maybe those people are also getting put into here. So 119 plus 7 is 126, which is very much possible. But in my opinion, why is there multiple tags that are putting them on the same list? And then they're also in the same, potentially the same automation. Actually, I did note that already. Hello, automation not added in any automation. So the biggie here is to rename and reduce. Same with the list. I want to get down to as few. The form's probably the same. And I want to have a very, consistent naming convention so that I can look at something and say, oh yeah, I know what this is. It's a profile tag. In other words, something about the contact. In this case, their ad spend is between 30K and greater. This person's ad spend is 0 to 5K. And of course, with that type of information, we can do something in particular, like an automation that addresses people that are spending less than $5,000 a month on advertising versus somebody who's spending $30,000. There's probably a difference in how they behave, what they're interested in, so that then you can message them appropriately. So that's that tab. Let's select all for now. ActiveCampaign automations. These are the current automations. There's a number of active contacts. That's not really appropriate to say, oh yeah, these are inactives. Mostly because, a lot of times an automation just does something and it's done. Somebody does not stay in there. This is a dynamic number. Same with emails. Just because an email doesn't get sent out inside an automation doesn't mean something important isn't happening. And I'm going to make use of labels again as a way to categorize the type of automations. And I'll be honest, we're going to have a lot more automations when this is done. A lot. But the great thing is the naming convention will be such that it's obvious what's going on. Now, so that's looking at ActiveCampaign. All I've done is pulled in the information about the account and what's going on. So next, let's take a look inside ThriveCart. And when I say look inside, let's take a look at what the products are they have and what my plan is for tagging and automations. Now, I'm going to go take a peek inside ThriveCart. PPC Academy Lite Workshop, which I've got right here. And the thing I want to point out is, let's go to behavior. So right now, what's happening is they're being added to a list in ActiveCampaign. Looks like community member. But guess what? We're going to put them probably on the main list, but we are going to tag them. Masterclass, no way in hell are we giving it a name like that. The tag's got to be way more descriptive, because my guess is there's other products in this person's account that are similar to that are a masterclass, but maybe this is on, I think this is PPC, maybe one's on YouTube, maybe one's on Facebook, one's on, especially on AdWords. So I want to get tags that are more specific. And then on the flip side, if somebody cancels, if they refund or their payments decline, these tags get applied. No. Don't want to do it that way. I want to instead add people to an automation, and that's it. I never want to remove tags, put them on list or anything from here. And you might think, well, why not? They can do it. ThriveCart can certainly do that. However, that's not really their job. Let ActiveCampaign do the heavy lifting. In my opinion, ThriveCart, all it should do is put them into an automation, and then in that automation, you do all the work that you want to have happen. And typically in an automation, first thing I like to do is remove tags, then add tags, then add to list, and then add to another automation. And I'll show you what I mean by that shortly. So this is what it looks like in my spreadsheet. What I've done is I put the product name in and I put the pricing. Is it a subscription or is it a one-time fee? And then I came up with a new column called product new. I don't want to use the exact same names, and I'll show you in a sec. Most of them I do. It's just these down here I wanted to change. I don't want to use brackets, and I kind of want to keep uppercase, I guess, on all words. Community member discount. I don't like the word discount, so I'm changing it to special. For the 3 months, I'm just going to put 3. Here, I'm going to get rid of discount, put special. So I've got the name, what I'm going to call the new name. I've got the type, and then I've got the tags that I want to add for each product. Now look, very consistent. It always starts with customer, and then it's product name. So I've got 3 tags: customer, product name dash active, customer dash product name dash inactive. Now, when somebody buys, they immediately get the customer dash product name tag. They also get customer product name dash active. Now, going forward, they're either going to have active or inactive, but they will always have the original customer tag. So inside ActiveCampaign, if I want to know anybody that's ever purchased, I can use that first tag. If I want to know anybody that's ever purchased and refunded, or they canceled, or something like, or that, then I can look for the version of it that's inactive. You could argue that I only really need the active and inactive tags. So I'm always toggling from one to the other, but I still like to leave the original customer-product name tag, just in case I somehow forget that they were a customer. What happens if I mistakenly delete both the active and active? I've totally lost that history. Don't want to do that. And then automations. I plan on putting them into, for instance, 8 different automations if they bought a subscription product. If they bought a one-time product, again, they're going to be put into only 4. And notice it's going to be product name dash and either main or subscription, and then these events. Now, where did I come up with those? Simple. Straight up copy from ThriveCart. So back in ThriveCart, what can happen here? So for the main product, there's 4 different events. For the subscription, there's 4 different events. Purchase, refund, abandon, decline. Purchase, refund, abandon, declined. Same thing for subscription. Pay, fail, refund, cancel. Pay, fail, refund, cancel. So I'm trying to make it easy on myself so that I understand when I see an automation, it's like, okay, for this product, this is the main if they abandon. And you want to know a dirty little secret? Like in that one, I do nothing. I just have the automation. Also, why should I do that? Well, it's actually kind of nice for reporting purposes. You can see how many people go through there. You could do something with it though. For instance, you might send out an email that says, hey, I noticed you abandoned the shopping cart. Bye, bye, bye. Hopefully a little bit nicer than that. But that's the idea. I want to be able to track what events have happened. The big E is typically purchase. So for instance, when somebody purchases, and I'll make this one up, and I'm not going to save you the my voice for right now and tell you. I'll show you what happens. Now, I'm using the spreadsheet to my own little advantage. Look there is a formula in here which basically says concatenate the word customer space dash with whatever's in B2 followed by char 10, which is actually a carriage return, comma, then customer dash B2 dash active, customer dash B2 dash inactive. And that will basically take whatever's in here. So for instance, if I just delete that, I'm going to copy this one, paste it here. That way, all I have to make sure is I've got this field correct and this field correct. That's the only one that matters for this. This one, the automation's basically the same type of thing. Let's show you the formula. I know, kind of a mess. There's an if statement. It says if whatever's in here says one time, then do this concatenate right up to here. Otherwise, do this concatenate. So if it's a subscription product, you create 8 different automation names. And I've got 1 per line, and actually this one is just, let me just get out of there. This is just for your record keeping. This you can literally copy paste into ActiveCampaign, but there's a little gotcha. So I'm just going to copy that right now, and I'm going to go create those tags inside ActiveCampaign. So I'll go back to contacts, and I'm going to do manage tags. I'm going to just paste them in. I know there's on new lines, but notice there's a little or double quotes at the end. So I have to kind of remove those. Now, if I pasted all of those in, there'd be a lot of them in there. So I'm just going to save myself. I found this replace text online tool. I'm going to put this in here. I want to get rid of the double quotes. So I'm just going to put that. And notice, just got rid of them. So I'm going to take that now, go back into here, and paste them in. So I could, why not, what the heck, let's just copy them all. Let's just do it all right now because it's going to happen anyway. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And notice down here, all the double quotes are gone. And this way I can create all these tags consistently, and I know because I set up the rules right inside the spreadsheet, they're all going to be named in a consistent manner. So we're going to go from 20 tags to, I don't know, a whole bunch more. Why are you only showing 20? But the great thing is I can search for customer because I know that's what I use. So look at that. There's all my customer tags. I've got the member, I've got the member-active, inactive. So I've got all the tags I want. They're consistently named. Now, what else did I want to do? So that, and for instance, we are going to do one of these products. I'm probably going to do an easy one because this is a one-time fee. It's only got 4 automations. That's, I think, what I'm going to show you, but hang on. Let me show you inside WordPress because this is another variable I need to take into account. Actually, it's Thrive Lightboxes. So let's go take a look and see what's going on to see if I can kind of get a picture of what's going on here. So if I just go look at one of these, I'm going to edit it in Thrive Architect, and I'm really looking for the connection to ActiveCampaign. What's going on here? Because I have a feeling people are getting added to different lists with different tags, and I'm going to make some executive decisions on that. So if I just click here, yeah, so this one's not going anywhere. Let's look at, I don't know, maybe one of these. I'm just looking for one that actually connects to ActiveCampaign to see if I can understand the methodology. Okay, so this one is connected to ActiveCampaign. So I'm going to need to actually make another addition to my spreadsheet. But let me just peek in here and see what's going on. So it's getting put on a mailing list. So this is where I'm probably going to want to just put them on the main, but I'll leave it for now. And there's multiple tags. Now, the one thing I don't like about Thrive here is that you can just type in whatever you want. They don't load up what ActiveCampaign has. So if I rename this tag inside ActiveCampaign, it's not going to get picked up in here. So I have to be careful about this. So I'm really going to have to do some grunt work and map this out. So to start work, let me just show you how I actually get this into the spreadsheet. So I'm going to create one called, let's call it WordPress. And so watch, this is super technically fancy. I'm going to do this, just highlight everything. And I'm going to have to do this on the next page. I go back here and I'm just going to paste it in. Look at that, pretty cool, huh? And let me be complete and do page 2. Okay. There we go. So just go to the bottom here. Oh, it worked. What a champ. So this is the name. This is the publish date. Don't really care. So I don't get a lot of information. I'm going to say goodbye to this. And if you remember, I like to have name here, but let's see if we can format this a little better. Why? Let's go just spread them out. Holy crap, some of those are long. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oops. So this is going to be name, and you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this. And go here. And somehow I want to change, I don't like all that gray space, but not a big deal right now. Let's just do this, make sure they're, holy crap, this is the longest names ever. So it's got a little bit more information in there that I want. Yeah, so it looks like I need to do some cleanup, and really, so I'm gonna have a new name, but you know what I'm gonna have also is list. I'm gonna do list new, because pretty much they're all going to go on there. I'm going to do tags, and I'm going to do tags new. So haven't done it yet, but basically I'm going to have to go through every light box that's in there, and it looks like I need to do some more cleanup. Might want to rename them, and I definitely want to know which lists they're being added to and which tags are being added. So I'm going to obviously, once I've renamed tags, added tags, I'll have to overhaul this. But that's kind of my thinking on that with regards to how we're going to have to do some cleanup. So I spent a lot of time in here just kind of getting the idea of what's going on. And then we'll kind of come up with new tags, new automations, and figure out what's going on here. But let's start just simply by, for instance, this one. No, let's do, what was it? This one right here, Facebook Ads Workshop. Or you know what? Let's just go from here. So I need to go into here. I need to go to automations. And I am, let's see what labels we have. I created miscellaneous. We're going to create some more. And I want to have, we're going to do this. Let me just copy that. So I'm going to go ahead and create some automations. And almost always I like to start with no trigger because ThriveCart's going to add them directly. So I'm going to skip that, not do that. I'm going to call this one, and just to make my life easy, I'm going to type up here PPC Acada. Or you know what? What the heck? Let's just do this. Let's go to this online tool. So let's create these. So here we go. First one. And I'm going to leave the other ones in there. So this is the abandoned main product. Oh, you know what? I actually need to create these first. So let me do that. So that's, save it. Let's make it active. Okay, you don't like that? Let's go back to automations. I'm going to add a label. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call this one customer. And I see there's already two more, so I'm going to put this as like the third color. I'm going to make it active. Okay, so let's go make the second one. We're just going to basically make them right now and not put anything in there. So yeah, I'm going to skip that. New automations, start from scratch, continue. Start without a trigger. I'm going to save that. It's not letting me change it to active mode, but oh well. So let's add the label, customer. And I'm going to go ahead and make that active. So I'm going to stop there for now. There's going to be a lot of grunt work going forward. I didn't finish off any of these automations, nor did I talk about my do not disturb tags. I'm really kind of in the assess mode, figuring out what's going on. I've got an idea of how I want to restructure tags, what automations I want to set up. Not sure about the Thrive leads or whatever it is thing right now, but it'll come together. But I have to kind of go through this thinking to figure out what it is that needs to happen so that this customer can look at her ActiveCampaign account, have a good feel for what's going on, who's interested in what, and then be able to scale it or keep adding more and more automations, tags as products increase or different interests come up. So that's it for today's IntegratePro Over the Shoulder.